Warning, the Spoilercast does contain spoilers of current and past movies, books, video, games, TV shows, and possibly your life. So if you're listening to a show called Spoilercast and you're pissed off that we gave away spoilers, we really don't care. Thanks again and have a wonderful day.
Welcome to Spoilercast by All Tower Media. I am Roper, and tonight I am joined by Josh Jones. Hi.
Hi. Hey, I'm back from the dead.
We have lost you for like ever, and now we have you back once again.
Well,
at least
many personal duties have kept me away, and not really away, just busy.
Yeah, well, you know, being an adult sucks, so sometimes you have to do stuff like that.
Adulting is the worst.
Adulting can be the worst. So, aside from you, we also have, always with us, Dire Monkey. How are you?
Peachy. How are you?
I'm actually pretty good. We just got done with my maiden voyage of Spellcast.
Yeah, you're the new host.
I am the new host.
Yeah.
We recorded that. It was actually very good. I enjoyed that entire episode. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I know. Is there a bomb going off with you? What is that?
I'm currely
just turned into
using
24
a bomb while driving a truck and drinking a pop.
So what? Okay.
No, I have a radar in my truck that tells me if I get too close to another vehicle.
I see. I see. I thought you were just traversing like an industrial waste zone, trying to scrap a bomb.
It happens. Ah. It happens.
So, to my understanding, over here at Spellbook Studios, you guys have just gotten done with a new release for Heroes of Dire, or a game?
We did indeed.
What was that?
Did you pull the duct tape off the girl, or what?
He pulled the duct tape frame off of the explosive device.
I see.
We're just going to go off the presumption that you're just constantly defusing a bomb.
Works for me.
I didn't hear anything.
Good.
On that.
We did just release a new patch content update for Heroes of Dire, including questing now as a thing.
Sweet.
Yeah, we're really excited about that. Apple is still being Apple. So there's seriously, you have no idea. So there's.
Oh, I do, because I was signed up for your beta program for the longest time playing.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the times, you guys kicked out updates so close together that by the time I got it, the server had been updated to 1 or even 2 ahead of what Apple had.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, yes, update. Oh, fuck, I can't play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? I've heard that exact sentiment before from various people. Anyway, so that we're still not on Steam yet. We've got it coming soon, so we're done giving out dates because
when it hits, I've got players.
I know. I've been doing some live streaming of it.
Yeah.
Actually, me and another guy here in the office are putting together an idea of doing tournament brackets for PvP. So might be pushing that out in stream. Maybe testing the waters next week. We'll see how the planning phase goes. But that's something to look forward to.
I had a question that I've been wanting to ask you for a while. Have you guys ever considered, due to I don't want to call the game simplistic, but I mean as far as the controls go, it's fairly simplistic. I know it's pretty involved otherwise. Basically point and click. Have you guys ever thought about transitioning or trying to do console? I don't know what's involved in that, but doing some of the like Xbox indie stuff?
Absolutely, and we would love to get into that. Here's where it becomes sticky, though, and it's something we've learned watching the progress of Blizzard doing Diablo and Overwatch on console.
Right.
And you've kind of experienced this with your Apple, even. When we publish updates for Steam and mobile, specifically Google App Store and Android App Store, it's very simple. You send them if you're a well-known publisher, you send them the content to update. It gets pushed out within an hour or so.
Nice.
You send it to Apple, and God only knows what the hell they do with it when they get it.
Does it go via fax or like?
It goes by
snail
fucking
mail?
retarded carrier pigeon, like a legitimate retarded carrier pigeon.
If they can't find one, they find a normal one. They strike it in the face with a hammer
Exactly.
and send it on its way.
So is Xbox and PSN the same way, or?
They are the same way, not as bad probably, but you'd have to send them each different version, and then it pretty much boils down to when they decide to patch. When they push out their patch updates. So it's not impossible, and it is something we want to eventually do, and it may be one of those things where it's an Xbox PS4 exclusive type thing. We'll see how it goes. Right now, actually, Heroes of Dire, you're basically, when you're playing on iOS, getting an iOS version of it, because we've had to remove certain features from it that don't affect gameplay, really. And you might notice, if you watch me play on stream via PC, and you're playing on your iPhone, that mine looks like Mortal Kombat on Sega, while yours looks like Mortal Kombat on Super Nintendo.
Gotcha.
I.e. no blood. So we had to basically remake the game for Apple in the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's rough.
Disappointing.
Rough
I
business.
know I would play the shit out of on Xbox. I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
Because I love the game,
Well,
but I'd play
it's
more
like
on there.
it's like the difference between a regular trailer and a Red Band trailer.
Yeah, exactly. and you're completely right. We would pick up so many more players with an Xbox or a console release for anything. But when you start adding these different avenues that it has to go through,
Have more dedicated servers, I'd imagine.
yeah,
too.
and not so much as because we pride ourselves on being cross-platform servers. So if you're playing on your PC, you're playing with iOS and Android users.
Right.
Programming that isn't, or coding that isn't necessarily the hard part. It's difficult but doable, and we've done it, and we'll do it for Xbox if we want to, or PS4 or whatever. Because programming in Unity allows that. You do it one time and it shits it everywhere. It's just those other companies, those other entities, they artificially or maybe not so artificially create little barriers that could affect players from those various outlets. Right. And we want to keep a cohesive player environment.
Right. I guess that's a double-edged sword because the reasons behind it make sense.
Yeah.
It's just grueling and punishing to go through it.
Yeah. So, Josh, how you been?
Huh?
How have you been?
Sorry, I lost you there for a second. I've been well. Like I mentioned, I drive truck now, and so I running long hours. When I'm not doing that, I'm been playing D&D with the kiddos. They've kind of fallen in love with that.
Actual pencil and paper, yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, what's funny is me and a couple of my friends have been playing D&D, and we've been playing it online with, we actually use Roll20 now.
Yep.
One guy lives in Philly, one guy lives in St. Louis, two of us live here in town, and we've been having a blast doing a campaign. And I've been seeing the maps you've been drawing, too, and after the show, stick around because I want to talk to you for about 2 minutes about those maps.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. I noticed with each map I get a little bit better each time, and I have tons of side sheets where I just do mountains or just do coastlines and try to practice a little bit. But I've been wanting to do Roll20 because me and Matt used to play when I lived down there, and we have kind of hemmed and hawed about it. And I've even tried using it where I set up two different accounts, one on regular Chrome and one on the what do they call it, the private browser version of Chrome, and you can log in as a separate user. And I've been using it as a virtual tabletop, but the laptop I use is just shit, so it doesn't really do it very well.
Yeah.
Well, tonight, I know that neither of you have actually seen John Wick 2 or Lego Batman, which is what I was gunning to chat about this evening. But since that's not a thing, I'm going to acknowledge Lego Batman.
I have seen
You've seen the first John
Wick, and I have seen Lego Movie. And
I'm in the same boat.
I can kind of make my decisions based off of those.
Right.
So,
Now, what did you think of the Lego Movie?
Hated it.
Hated it?
Yeah.
Lego Batman sets a really high bar for comedy. It is wonderfully hysterical.
That's what I hear.
It is wonderfully hysterical.
That's what I hear.
The whole premise is the Joker gets sucked off into.
Whoa! I'm definitely seeing it now.
He gets
sucked off by Harley Quinn.
He gets sucked off to what's the name of the place that Superman puts
Phantom Zone?
The Phantom Zone. There you go. Joker gets into the Phantom Zone to get himself some real bad guys, because the bad guys that he has been trolling around with they're useless in his opinion. And
they always lose?
Yeah, well, basically. And so he gets himself put into the Phantom Zone. And it turns out in the Phantom Zone, there's like the Jurassic Park T-Rex and a handful of the raptors. There's it's not the Loch Ness Monster, but it looks like it. It's like really, really, really big.
That makes sense.
There's the Eye of Sauron. There's the Wicked Witch of the West and her evil monkeys.
So it's like the villain's superstore. He's going to cost villain.
Yeah. And then in addition to that, there's Daleks. Daleks are in there.
Oh my god!
But they don't call them Daleks. They're in British robots. Ask your nerd friends. Like, that's the line, and of course it's hysterical. And of course, as they're naming off all of the regular Joker counterparts, as you're going through and they're naming off all these people, like the Condiment King and this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy, and they're naming off all these people. He's like, and these are real characters, probably worth a Google. And so now every episode that has occurred for Flick Freaks after the fact, Andrew has said probably worth a Google almost every day now.
Wow.
It's so it is so funny. At times I actually had tears in my eye. I was laughing so hard. I loved it. It was fantastic.
I did like the trailers. I've seen a few trailers.
Yeah, the trailers have been great. The movie itself was wonderful.
I love the one where he's trying to turn on the music and whips like 1,000 batarangs at the radio, and then hits it with the last one. Goes, nailed it.
No, so they actually really touch upon how lonesome Batman has to actually be in this movie, and that's one of the driving forces for it. And that's probably where I'm going to leave Lego Batman for right now, just because. The overlap, there is no overlap between the Lego movie and the Lego Batman movie. Like, it's almost as if they don't recognize one another. Like, he doesn't make reference to things. Instead, he refers to himself as a master builder at one point in time. And he actually tells Robin he's going to teach him how to be a master builder while talking to him over a headset. So, there's that, but that's as close as you get to the other movie. It's just him going, I'm going to teach you how to be a master builder. And then that's like the end of it. But it doesn't go into, all the things with Emmett. You don't go over to Bricksburg. You don't have any of the other stuff going on. Like, none of that stuff actually happens.
I was wondering if Robin was very douchey in this movie. He looks like a total douchebag. He is. I'm convinced if Jareth was a Lego, that's what he would be.
Jareth doesn't seem to agree, but I can't imagine why. No, Robin is just, he's like super duper happy-go-lucky on everything. And, to begin with, he thinks that he's been adopted by Bruce Wayne. And because he's been adopted by Bruce Wayne. And Bruce Wayne didn't even know that he adopted him. That's the best part of the whole thing. But he's living in Bruce Wayne's house. And Batman doesn't realize he's living there. And Alfred's like, you need to bond with your son. And he's like, my what? And he's like, the orphan child that you adopted. And Alfred lets him into the Batcave. And, of course, Batman's like, what are you doing? And gets all mad about it, whatever. But then he sees him as means of accomplishing a task. I won't tell you what that is because, although this is Spoilercast, I'm not going to sit here and just rip off the Band-Aid for you guys, but he decides to incorporate Robin because it serves a purpose. And
wait, you're actually holding back on a Lego movie?
You want to know?
You're gonna tell me about John Wick 2, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about John Wick 2.
I've already stated that I don't care about spoilers. Now, Josh might, so I don't want to step on your toes.
No,
all right, fine.
I don't care at all.
Fine. I'm not going to hold it back then.
Because honestly, I'm probably not going to see this movie till it hits Amazon.
They decide that they need to get the Superman has the Phantom Zone or Phantom Zone. It's Phantom Zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Phantom Zone projector. It's the thing that opens it up.
Gotcha.
And they got to go there to his Fortress of Solitude to get it. And the thing that surrounds the gun, the portal blaster, there's like next to zero chance of survival to actually get into it. And Batman's too big to get into it. And so he's looking at Robin, and he's like, you don't have any family, and you're small and nimble, so he sees him as completely disposable. He's like, you can go with me, and we can get this thing, because he's convinced that he needs to put the Joker into the Phantom Zone.
Okay.
Is there one of those moments where he like looks at Robin, looks at the gun, looks at Robin, like back and forth?
I mean, yeah,
before he
kind of.
realizes?
Yeah, kind of. Like he's like, wait, you're like small and nimble and don't have any family or. Like, and he's like, yeah, what's that have to do with anything? And he's like, let's go on a mission. And then they go to the Fortress of Solitude, and he's like, I'll distract Superman because they'll be up here all lonely and sad and whatever. Basically, Batman's life, what we've seen from Batman up to this point in time. And then you get there, and he knocks on the front door, and that's totally not the case because they're having like the 50th reunion of the Justice League. And he's like, you're having this without me? They're like, no, you're here. And so, like, all of them are there. So, like, the Wonder Twins are there. Like, all of the Justice League, all of them, even the offshoot ones that are just less known, all of them are there. And they're like, he's like, you're having a party for the Justice League without me? And they're like, no. So, long and short, he ends up getting the projector. They put the Joker in to the Phantom Zone. Joker manages to get back out because Harley Quinn. That's my answer right there, because Harley Quinn. And she lets him back out.
She have something in her inmate wallet?
She steals the Phantom Zone projector
Gotcha.
again. So after he gets put in, she ends up stealing it back, reopens it. They end up escaping. And, of course, they just wreak havoc upon everything. And then, of course, he's defusing a bomb, remember? Don't give me a confused look.
Sound like a TARDIS.
Yeah, well, that's the only way he could stop the explosion was to load it aboard the TARDIS and send it to another time. So, ultimately, Batman learns to work with others and basically has a family by the end of it. He's got Barbara Gordon, and she's the new commissioner. Because the very beginning of the movie, it's Commissioner Gordon, and he gives her like a badge. And I won't say he gives her a badge. I don't remember if it's a badge. But he gives her a badge and a button, which is for the bat signal. And of course, Bruce Wayne's like, "Yeah, she'll be fine as commissioner as long as she knows how to push a button." And she's like, "No, we need to redo all of this and work with Batman." And of course, Bruce Wayne's not on board with that, but. He also thinks she's, like, ridiculously hot because he stops listening to everything around him while she's in his presence. And that's how Robin gets adopted. Because he's like, hey, do you think this would be an adorable quality in an orphan? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, how about this? Yeah. Oh, well, what about this? Yeah. Well, all of those things describe me. Would you be interested in adopting an orphan? And he's like, yeah. Would you adopt me? Yeah. And then he adopts him.
As you do.
Awesome.
It is really, really, really funny, and I enjoyed it the entire time. And to watch both Lego Batman, and John Wick 2 in the same night was two different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, I was going to say that's kind of
because I walked out of one feeling like super optimistic and feeling real good, and just laughing and just having a good time. And then I went to John Wick 2, and there are some moments in that movie that are just utterly cringeworthy. There came a moment in that movie when literally everyone in the audience was like, all of us at the exact same time groaned out loud.
Sounds like a good movie.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So into the first movie, he gets his dog, well, the dog out of the veterinarian clinic. He gets a dog, I should say. So he's wrecked everyone. And it was all it's a murder sprawl as a result of them killing the dog left to him by his wife, right? Mm-hmm. And Josh, you've seen John Wick 1, right?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Total carnage.
Yeah, so he goes on a massive killing streak, right? Well, to reacclimate us to the John Wick world, we are introduced to the brother of the Russian mobster, like the head guy that's from the first movie. I'm positive it's the same actor. Like, if you look it up on IMDb, I'm positive it's the same actor. They just put more tattoos on him. And he's supposed to be because he's like, they're shutting down shop. And you might have to go to the first one. Like,
don't tell me they kill his second dog, too.
No.
I saw this last week, and it escapes me right now, but the main Russian guy, the last fight on the docks, he didn't actually die. He didn't kill him, did he?
Yeah, he kills him.
Did he?
He kills him.
Don't remember that.
Pretty sure he did.
Yeah, he kills him. Man, what was that other guy? Yeah, I'm positive it's the same guy, though. You're about to find it. Vigo, top one right there. Michael, whatever. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, him. Seeing John Wick 2?
Doesn't look like it.
No? All right. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, they look very similar, if that's the case. But anyway, so John Wick 2 starts off. It's more of these Russian guys, and they're closing down shop. And one of these flunkies walks in the door, and he's like, all right, well, why exactly are we doing this? And he's like, because my nephew stole a car. When that car happens to be on our inventory out here. And he's like, oh, well, why don't we just take care of the guy? And he's like, because that guy's John Wick. He's like, oh. He goes, he killed 3 men with a pencil. A pencil. And so they bring some of these legends back around, right? And later on in the movie, there comes a moment, the cringeworthy moment, where John Wick actually kills 2 people with a pencil in this movie. And so, like, as it's happening, I couldn't help but think to myself, oh my God, there's going to be a third guy, and we're going to actually see him kill 3 people with a pencil. And that moment never comes. But there is, at the very beginning of the movie, like I said, he gets his car back, he goes home, he takes all of his guns, everything that he got out. You remember whenever he smashed up his floor in his basement? He takes all that stuff, he puts it back in there, and he concretes the whole thing over, right? And at that exact moment, in my mind, I was like, for the remainder of this movie, it needs to be Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock on a rom-com. And everything we've seen so far was just deceitful trailers, right? That's what this needs to be. Or Ruby Rose, her character in this, it should have been him and her like meeting up, and it becomes this BS romantic comedy. That would have just killed me if that's the way it would have gone, because he's like, you know, he's an assassin. She's and so,
Mr. and Mrs. Wick.
Yeah, you know, so it becomes like, instead of following this path of gratuitous violence and just destroying everything, instead it becomes, you know, him trying to like meet some girl, and
vet appointments. The dog.
Yeah, you know, yeah. Like he takes the dog to the vet. That's where he meets her, right?
I think we just rewrote the movie. I'm not sure, but
if that's the way because the whole beginning is just total action. He hip checks a guy with his car. Like he spins the whole back end around, and it strikes a guy from the side and like launches him sideways into a steel beam. Like he is mangling people with this car. And then into the whole fight scene, everything of that nature, everything's back to peace again, and he tunes all that stuff up. I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity for them to turn this into something else entirely.
Bill and Ted 3.
Hey, they're making a Bill and
I
Ted
know
3.
They are. I'm so
they-
excited.
Hang on now. They've been saying this since Bill and Ted 2.
They're making a Bill and Ted 3. Don't pop my bubble.
It was recently confirmed.
Well, again,
Wasn't it?
I don't know.
yes and no. It has been confirmed.
Confirmed.
I've followed this for several years, and there's a good chance that they will be making a Bill and Ted 3. But they've been saying this also for literally since Bill and Ted 2.
Yeah.
Because I thought the last thing I read was that the script had been written, but I'm sure that's been written for a while too. Movies get written all the time and shelved.
Yep.
So
one more piece of trivia. They actually did make a Bill and Ted's 3. Do you know what that movie was called?
what?
No.
Biodome.
Oh my god.
Not kidding. That was the script in 1990, whatever, for Bill and Ted
Really?
3.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yep.
So, back to this nonsensical stuff. Great movie. I enjoy every moment of it. They end the movie on a really, really big note, though. One of the key points that they get around to is, you remember in the first movie, what happens when you conduct business on continental ground? What happens?
You're killed.
You're killed.
Headshot.
Headshot, right? That's one thing that can happen to you. The other thing that can happen to you is you're excommunicated, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, by the end of this movie, John Wick is excommunicated because the main bad guy, Santino D'Antonio, I believe is what his name is. Santino?
Yeah.
Santino is who he's after the whole movie. Santino shows up and basically he's like, you owe me a debt. The impossible night that they always go back to where he's like the task. They don't specify what these things are, but apparently Santino played a role in it somehow, in him being able to get out, right?
Okay, go back a second. If I'm not mistaken, Keanu didn't... well, wait. The club was part of the Continental, right? That he...
No.
No?
Club's not a part of the Continental.
So he didn't actually conduct business on... So why is he excommunicated?
He's excommunicated by the end of John Wick
Gotcha.
2.
Okay.
So Santino, and this is what this point is. Santino is the main bad guy. He's the antagonist in this movie, and he shows up and he's like, "I need you to repay this debt you owe me." And John's like, "No, I'm done. I'm really done." And he's like, "No, you owe me this debt. You have to." And that's what kickstarts this entire thing, right? He forces his hand and makes him go kill someone. Not just someone that he's actually fond of, a friend of his. And he goes and kills him because he has to, right? And that's what starts this whole thing off. Well, after he completes the task, Santino double-crosses him and attempts to actually kill John. And so you spend the whole movie of John trying to track this guy down and kill him for forcing his hand and bringing him back into the loop, right? By the end of the movie, Santino has taken refuge inside of the Continental, and he's like, I never have to leave here, and you can't kill me. You can't do anything because I'm on Continental ground, right? And John sees this as, well, it's a no-win situation. He's going to keep gunning for me, and, this is the way this is going to go. So he just blasts him right there in the middle of the Continental. And, of course, he just turns around and leaves. And, of course, they don't kill him right then and there. Instead, they meet with him, and they prove a point. And that point is like everyone in this scene, there are dozens of people in this scene, are all like they get a phone call and all of them are like told to stop and they all freeze in place and they all turn and like look at him. And the guy that's the leader of the Continental's like, in an hour, you're going to be excommunicated. You better get going. So he turns around and he books it. And the end of the movie is him literally just running off through a crowd of people that are all staring him down, which some of the implications in that are very terrifying. That literally, it seems like in John Wick's world, everyone is an assassin. Everyone is an assassin for hire in John Wick's world is what it seems like. Except for people like Jimmy, the cop.
Yeah.
Hey, Jimmy. Hey, John. Working again?
Yeah.
But there's like zero response time from law enforcement in this movie. You never ever see any of them anywhere. You never hear any of them. You don't know anything about them aside from Jimmy showing up. That never happens.
He's in the fucking Matrix. It's a program.
Oh my god. Oh my god. It is. John Wick is just. It's just the Matrix reloaded again. Reloaded. Oh,
that would be awesome.
It's all just.
That's the real Matrix number 3.
Well, hey, it's got Lawrence.
They're retconning 3.
Yeah,
it's
got Lawrence Fishburne.
It's got Lawrence Fishburne and Keanu Reeves in this movie. This is just the Matrix. That's what it is.
It's not the Kung Fu program. It's the assassin program.
Yeah,
He's just learning.
Yeah. You know, they talked about the earlier ones where everything was peaceful and calm, and it wasn't working, and so they made it darker and harsher, and then it failed again.
This
now,
is 11.
Here we go. This is just the next reboot.
Who directed these two movies?
Scroll upwards.
Shit, it's on the wrong monitor.
There it is. Director, Chad Stahelski.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Stahelski. Stahelski. What else has he done? Probably the other John Wick. Hey! You click on it. He is apparently known for 300, The Matrix, V for Vendetta.
He did stunts on 300, Matrix.
Yes.
Mostly known for stunts, it looks like.
Yeah.
He's worked with Keanu.
So he was involved in The Matrix.
Yeah, stunts for The Matrix.
I smell a conspiracy theory.
Oh my goodness, we figured it out. It's not real. It's just The Matrix all over again.
So this guy was just a stunt coordinator and everything else? That can't be right? No?
It doesn't seem right, does it?
Director?
Could he have been the stunt director?
No, it literally has him listed as director. You go to the IMDb page for John Wick Chapter 2, and then it starts off, it says, after returning to the criminal underworld to repay a debt, John Wick discovers that a large bounty has been put on his head. And then it says director, and then it shows his name, and then it shows 2 writers, and then,
Well, I imagine he was some sort of stunt director on the lead stunt.
No,
guy,
it's got him listed as director.
Yeah, it's sole
no,
director.
I'm talking about the previous movies.
Oh,
yeah.
He was listed as stunt on the other movies.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, it's 300, Matrix, V for Vendetta, and Constantine, all of which are listed as stunts.
So it's a heavily stunt-based movie, so it kind of makes sense. I mean,
yeah. Wow.
But one thing I love about
3
this
director
movie
credits.
He's got 3 director credits: John Wick Chapter 2, and the announced Highlander.
Oh yeah, that's getting rebooted.
You buddy. So,
but a lot of people hate on Keanu Reeves.
John Wick TV series.
What?
It's announced. It's shown right here on his on this same guy's page as director. Wow.
But one thing that I love about John Wick is Keanu Reeves specifically. I think that he was perfectly cast for this movie.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people hate on him ever since The Matrix, which a lot of that was just some poor line writing and a little bit of bad line delivery by Keanu. I mean, he's kind of grown as an actor, but I think this really is kind of a good niche for him for a while, is to play these kind of movies.
Have you watched the gun range training videos of Keanu Reeves actually rolling through, and you have there?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Have you watched those? I'll see if I can find the link for it. If you, and this isn't necessarily for either of the two, if anyone listening to this hasn't seen those, look it up. John, it's Keanu Reeves.
When you write the description for the podcast, put a link in there.
I will. I'll find it and I'll make sure I put it in there. But watching him go through and actually running this obstacle course with AR-15, a pistol, and his shotgun, I mean, it is exactly as he is in these movies. And I was actually listening to a podcast the other day. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I've been listening to so much anymore. I don't even know who it was I was listening to. But they were talking about how wasteful he was with all of his shots, and I'm like, wrong, sir. That man is the most efficient at everything he does. He put at least 2 rounds on everybody. He ensured every person that he put on the ground stayed on the ground. And if he didn't get the opportunity to put them on the ground to begin with, then there ended up being a fist fight or another fight, but then he ultimately ended up putting them down. He put down all of them.
Mm-hmm.
One of the
isn't that rule 1 of the apocalypse? Double tap?
Basically, yeah. Yeah, according to Zombieland. Yeah, but
he's supposed to be doing another one of those too.
Yeah, so that he'd tag him right in the chest and then tap him in the head. Tag him in the chest, tap him in the head. Tag him in the chest, tap him in the head. And it was over and over and over again. I mean, he was proficient with them all. And to watch how he does that in these movies is exactly how he's moving during this training video, because he's using. I mean, he's actually doing.
People have been so desensitized to unrealistic violence in movies and unrealistic carnage that they think that guns are unlimited bullets and grazing someone's arm is a death, and it just, all these fantastic shots that when you present something somewhat realistic, they give it shit.
Fake.
Yep.
It looks fake when you do it for real.
Yep.
Right.
I think that's part of. I think it's speaking to a little bit of truth there. I think you're onto something. I think so. We're. I know that we're rolling down on time just a little bit. How are we doing?
Really? Shit.
Still sitting at 30? All right. Well, I didn't realize we weren't so bad.
I was gonna say I didn't feel like that long.
Well, I'm sitting here. I'm looking at the clock. It says that it is 2 minutes till 8. I think.
Well, when I hit the TARDIS switch, I brought us back a little bit.
Oh, okay. And of course, it says it's 2 minutes till 8. Well, now it's 1 minute till 8. But then on your call time, it shows that it's almost 40 minutes into it. That's why I'm like, well, we're running.
Well, because I called in before.
We had Josh on the line 4 minutes before we started the show.
Oh, is that
so?
The
if you take away 4 minutes from that, that's how long the show's been on.
Okay. All right. I'm tracking out. So 35. Well, because we are so thinly staffed this evening, I think that running this at about 45 minutes will probably be ideal overall, if that is okay with the both of you two.
Works for me.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Josh,
that's fine.
Fantastic. So, the both of you have seen John Wick. And the implications, like I said, I don't recall much from the first movie as far as... because it was more closed off. It was just him and the gang, right? It was just him and the Russian mobsters, right? Mm-hmm. You don't see a whole lot.
Oh no! Don't forget Mayhem was in that movie.
Yeah, well, he was a member of their gang.
I thought that was so awesome.
I know.
I'm like, dude, it's the Mayhem guy.
Well, here's the deal: don't have Mayhem in your car with you, otherwise, Mayhem's going to follow. So I would never give that man a ride anywhere. I'd wreck my car. But if we don't see a whole lot of interaction with the rest of the world, is what I'm getting at.
No.
In this one, we do. And there's a scene in this movie that really bothers me. And it bothered me until the end of the movie, and then suddenly I'm like, I have a totally different perspective on this. There comes a fight in a subway, and they're actually in the subway car, right? And they're rolling along, and there's a bunch of people on board. And John and this other guy, they see each other. They've been fighting at each other one-on-one for a while now, and they keep moving closer and closer and closer as the car keeps emptying out. And then finally, one of them pulls a knife, and they lunge at one another, right? And now they're grappling over this knife. Now, in the background, you can see 6 people. There's 3 people on one end of the subway car, and there's 3 people on the other end of the subway car. Now, I'm going to stop right there. You have 2 people, 2 men, big men, fighting in the middle of a subway car, struggling over a knife. You are one of these people in the background nowadays, right now. This is just now happening. What would you do, Dire Monkey?
Pull it out and start beating off.
Okay.
No, I would probably take out my phone and call the cops.
Call the cops. Josh, what would you do?
What city are they supposed to be in? This is New York?
New York, yeah. They're in New York at this point in time.
In this scenario, have I lived there my whole life?
Yes.
Okay, I would probably record it or live stream it.
Honestly, that is exactly what... I mean, reasonably speaking, you guys have given both answers that I've come up with what I consider to be natural human responses. A, record it. B, call the cops. And then as a rarity, you have jump in and intervene. Because you have those hero people that are like, hey, whoa, try to separate these people, not knowing what's going on, right? It's possible, okay? Or screaming, okay? During this scene, though, none of these things are happening. These people are literally just sitting there. And at one brief moment, they cuts away to them, and they're grabbing their bags and staggering away from them a little bit and sitting down. But then when the doors open, everybody gets out and runs away. But there's none of that other stuff going on, right? And I know that this is just background to it. And it's not supposed to be...
I'm trying to read my paper.
It's not supposed to be the forefront of your attention, but this is how I am, right? Well, when the end of the movie comes around and you see all of these people that are in this park that are suddenly paying attention to John because of the phone calls being made and all the text messages are being sent out saying in an hour that he's excommunicated and everybody's looking at him. And he's got a stupid $7 million bounty on his head or some nonsense like that. I mean, it's something ridiculous. But you see all these people and there actually comes a fight scene where there's 20-something assassins that are put on him, and one of them is like a violinist standing on a street corner. She gets a text message, and she pulls a gun out of her violin and starts scrapping at John because she sees him, right? These things are happening. So immediately, as soon as I saw that, I go, well, they're desensitized to it because everyone here is an assassin. It's just another day. It's just another thing.
More credence to the Matrix theory.
Exactly.
They're getting activated via the code.
There you go. They're all getting sent a message, a text message saying he's now an alien program to be dealt with.
This director guy has worked with Keanu Reeves more times than anyone else as far as stunt coordinating. He like he's worked with every Keanu movie, from Point Break to Speed to all the Matrixes, and these two obviously. He's in the Matrix.
It's the Matrix.
Everything you said kind of just lends more. I mean, think about even the main bad guy. You said they look very similar.
Yeah, the two. Well, no, the main bad guy from the first movie has a brother in the second movie.
Yeah,
and he makes peace with that brother, and you'll never see him again during John Wick 2. And then it's the Santiago character who becomes your main bad guy through the remainder of it, and he is a problem. But as we all know, John is more of a problem. And the whole movie is excellent. It's beautifully done. There are a lot of emphasis.
There's a lot of emphasis.
There is a lot of emphasis on religious tones in this movie. They go into a place called Reflections of the Soul. They refer to this being as John's path to damnation. There are several moments throughout this. There comes a moment where the main bad guys argue with John and basically says something to the effect of, "You think you're Old Testament?" And he's saying that this other organization, the one that like runs all of these things, that has like the Yakuza and the Russians and everybody all funneling into it. He's like, they're Old Testament. You know, I mean, there's a lot of that verbiage in this movie. There's a lot of that scenery that's in this movie. There's a lot of it that's there, and it kind of makes me look at all of this where it's like John is trying to redeem himself because he was this bad guy to begin with, and he was, you know, he was one of these people, and he found a way out, and he was out, and now he's being drugged back into it all again. So he was redeemed, and now he's being pulled back in, and now he's like, I don't care, you know. Kind of like, well, I guess even with the term excommunicated would be kind of now that I'm thinking about it. I didn't realize that I don't recall it being so much like that during the first movie.
I'd have to watch it again.
Other than him shooting the priest, no.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like there was some religious overtones. Maybe just Roman Catholic type stuff.
Yeah.
Old. I don't know. For some reason, it feels like it had a little bit of a religious atonement type thing.
This is a little more on the nose, I think.
A little heavy-handed on it?
Not so much heavy-handed. It's still subtle.
Okay.
But as you're going through and watching it after the fact, you can look at it, and it's like hindsight 2020. It's like, okay, yeah, I can pick out all of these moments where it's like, yeah, that's what this is. You know?
You know what's kind of interesting as we're talking about the director and Keanu in this movie, it seems like this movie, in some fashion, has elements from all of the movies that he's worked with John in. I mean, because you can say that some of that may have been inspired by Constantine. And,
well, you could even say the same thing.
It could have come from Point Break.
Well, you could say the same thing about.
He's been in.
You could say the same thing about religious undertones and overtones about the Matrix and all of the implications that go into that.
Well, they went way on the nose in the Matrix.
Yeah,
but became Jesus, for God's sake.
Neo is not the one.
Well,
Agent Smith is the one.
Right. Whatever.
Sir.
But still, those two movies sucked. So I still win by default on that.
It's like a joke I heard that I refuse to tell here.
Oh, wow! Too risky for you in the spoiler cast?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's something to do with winning a gold medal. I'm going to leave that right there. So this evening, actually, whenever I wrap up here in the next few minutes, I will be going to attend the movie A Cure for Wellness.
I want to see that.
I know, it's going to be so good. It's going to be delicious. So, all the squids and everything. Whatever those jelly monsters are. Eels. That's what I'm trying to say. Eels.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say eels, and I keep saying jelly monsters. So, Josh,
Yeah.
we're going to have you on again at some point in time in the future if all works well.
You have my number.
Excelente. Dire Monkey?
No, I'm not going back.
Okay. Well, you have anything you want to add? You guys run any contests, anything of nature over here at Spellbook? You have plans for anything like that?
Not at the current time
Yeah.
that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Perhaps on down the line. It's always,
I know
in the pipes.
It's in the pipes. I know we just finished the Valentine's Day event in Heroes of Dire.
Yeah.
And we are going to do one in April sometime around Easter for that. We do random giveaways in the game during the day, random days, sometimes more, sometimes less. So there's probably something going on in the game right now. There's just nothing like I can say for sure there is something going on. Today, anyway.
Okay.
We'll see what happens tomorrow. There may be.
Well, be sure to get over and check us out on YouTube and all the things that we have on YouTube and Flick Freaks channel. You got to get over and check them out because we have all of the things there, all of Andrew's reviews, all of his Let's Plays. Jareth and I are actually actively involved in a Let's Play right now with him for 7 Days to Die. Hopefully we can get Josh back on at some point in time whenever he's not defusing a bomb.
I may pick up 7 Days to Die. I picked up How to Survive 2, and it's very similar.
Yeah.
And me and the kids watched some YouTube videos of 7 Days, and fuck is that game elaborate.
Yeah, it's really good. I enjoy it thoroughly.
I saw some guy who was at day 280, and the houses he had. Wow.
Yep, I've been watching some of those as well. I have no desire to build those big illustrious houses. I will, on the other hand, build myself a fortress. Yeah, it's really good. I enjoy it quite a bit, and I kind of personally want to do my own 7 Days to Die alongside with what Andrew's doing, because right now he's doing. I'm wanting to say, I don't know if he's doing it as a split screen where he has all of us doing something, or if it's going to bounce around to who all's just doing something at that point in time. I don't know how he's putting them together, but I kind of want to do one for myself where I want to do 28 days, and so I can make it into like my 28 days later. I'm going to set the zombies to always run. And,
well, my
internet
connection actually offers a decent upload speed now, and now that I have an Xbox One, I might jump in there with you and start. Because I'm going to pick up 7 Days to Die probably in the next 2 weeks.
That'd be cool. I'm playing on the computer, so I don't know if it cross-platforms or not.
Microsoft says most of their games are supposed to, but I don't know if this game does.
Yeah, it's worth reading into, I suppose.
All right.
Well, I appreciate you being on with us again, Josh.
Thank you.
So, other than that, if everyone said their closing pieces, then I hope the explosion bodes well for you, Josh.
As long as I keep it above 55.
Keep it above 55. Otherwise, jump back in the TARDIS. Take it back a few minutes.
Right?
All right, boys. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Make sure to check out our website, All Tower. Fucking hell.
Bloody hell, mate.
Let me try that one again.